Hello，不好意思哦，我刚刚不太会用这个不一样的电脑，所以不知道谁在线上。今天呢，我要稍微介绍一下关于重深呼吸，然后也关于重深呼吸是如何帮助我的家人啊，还有帮助我的朋友的。呃，今天呢，昨天我介绍了我的弟弟，因为我弟弟是，他自己本身都有通灵的体质，但是呢，我觉得不见得是有通灵体质的人才可以受惠于重深呼吸的。我老公呢是一个完全不一样的人，我老公是一个，简单来说麻瓜，而且呢，他是一个在 corporate 工作，就是在大公司工作了，同一家公司做了11年的人。他是一个无神论者，he's an atheist。他一开始完全不知道我在干嘛，他只是觉得他以前不觉得可以跟动物沟通是一件正常的事情，可是他因为相信我，所以他就随便我做什么事情。那今天呢，我特地把我老公拉进来，他是一个老外，所以呢，他讲英文会比较快一点，然后我如果呃简单的帮大家及时翻译，那翻译不周全的话呢，请大家多包涵。Introducing Ben，噔噔噔。So Ben has been witnessing my journey since 2012 when we met in Shanghai. And today I would like to share a bit story about our journey about breathwork. Why don't you introduce yourself a little bit? 然后自我介绍一下。
So it's a little bit. You can stay on.
给你自己的舞台。
It's kind of reversed.
All right.
So yeah, my name is Ben. I'm Anne's husband. Anne and I have pretty different backgrounds. Obviously, Anne's from Taiwan. I'm from Australia. That alone, anyone who's done some travel and lived in different countries knows that a lot of the cultural differences and the way that people are educated at school and university.
我们中西文化就已经有非常不一样，更何况就是他其实是澳洲人，然后我是当土生土长的台湾人。Hello, Gladys.
Yeah, so there's already, of course, a lot of differences in the way that, culturally speaking, that we're brought up. But beyond that, there's also differences in who we are as people and our specific experiences of growing up, like different types of parenting. Both come from a divorced family, but very different process of divorce and different ways of dealing with it and different outcomes after the divorce. We both ended up with our mothers, but different scenarios played out after that. So our whole
Hi, Melanie.
our whole experiences are very different. So when I met Anne, at the point when we met, as Anne said, yeah, I'm born Catholic, studied religion, but decided to become an atheist. Probably now I'm, I guess, what you call still an atheist, but still but believe that there's definitely some energy and stuff that connects things in the world, in the universe.
我翻译一下 OK。
Oh.
So 我们两个就是原本生长的环境就非常不一样嘛，所以我觉得可能有个共同点是我们都是来自一个破碎的家庭，然后我们都是由妈妈单方抚养长大的，然后他本身是一个无神论者，他也不像他，但是他was it Catholic or Christian that you were?
Me?
Yeah,
Catholic.
然后他以前是天主教的，然后我其实现在还是基督教的受洗，但是我们两个现在有稍微不同的一个转向，继续讲。
Yeah, so Anne and I come from very different walks of life. I'm the guy in a conversation, and if some of my friends were here, they'd probably contest to this. I'm the one who is a bit more cynical, a bit more skeptical of things. I believe in proof, And anyway, recently Anne and I were talking about her journey and her growth of her community of trying to heal people, and she was experiencing perhaps some some resistance from some people, perhaps around not understanding what it's about, or maybe thinking that it's all for people who have like really bad stories in their past that they're trying to get through or heal. And I said, why don't you tell my story? Because I'm that person, right? I'm the guy who doesn't really believe in it, to be frank. That we've spent months over the years disagreeing about stuff and having healthy debates especially about religion. But now Anne's moved into this space, having lots and lots of different conversations about this. So I felt like my story would resonate with people out there who are more like me, who are less connected with the kind of the spiritual side or the energy side. And what has it done for me when I'm the more analytical guy, right? So I thought that could be an interesting story to share, and that's kind of why we're here today.
对啊，因为有一次我就看到大家在分享有关于就是可能他对于心灵课程或者重生呼吸的这个看法，然后他们说哦，我现在很好啊，就是我不需要，就感觉，然后我觉得大家会贴一个标签，觉得心理课程是给一些比较就是有点像是宗教的这个标签，就是比较懦弱的人啊，比较需要人家一个团体的一个、团体的一个支持的人啊，然后会觉得重深呼吸又是另外一个标签，觉得是这个不适合我啊，就是非我族类应该做的事情啊，等等等等。所以我想要打破这个标签，因为我跟 Ben 是非常不一样的人，他是一个非常左脑思考的人，他是在同一家公司做了11年的人，他是非常逻辑，就很需要用要真的要说服他是一个非常非常难的事情。所以有关于在灵性的成长方面，我们两个其实一开始是有非常非常we had a really big gap in the beginning。但是我们都相信有一个更高的一个力量 ，like there's definitely a higher power 。So that's why we're here today. And 然后，所以他就来说，哦，那我们干脆来访问他一下，因为他是一个最好的见证的例子。他对灵性完全没有兴趣，他也不知道什么，他以前也完全不知道什么是动物沟通，他也不太，他可能有点相信 ，maybe you believe a little bit about oneness, right? 他可能对合一有点概念，可是他不会觉得这个很有必要带到他的生活当中，就是他是一个跟我完全在某方面是一个完全不一样的人，可是他也在重深呼吸收回不少。OK， 现在就继续让他介绍一下。So why don't we talk about like your first experience with breathwork? I think I was like trying to push you to do breathwork for a long time. And then finally you were traveling to Singapore and you had a chance to meet Gladys. And you did your first breathwork in the garden, right?
Luckily, it was in an air-conditioned venue,
right.
Not in hot, sweaty Singapore in the grass with ants crawling all over me. I'm not the best meditator at the best of times, let alone in hot, sweaty Singapore, lying in a park.
所以他的第一次重深呼吸是在室内的一个地方，他那时候就一直跟我说：“拜托，一定要在室内，那个室外的天气我完全受不了。”然后，所以他现在来分享他第一次重深呼吸的经验。
Well, actually, my first experience with breathwork was Anne going through breathwork, not really my first experience in Singapore.
Oh, right. So we should talk about that first.
Yeah, so my first experience with breathwork was watching someone else who I love and care about go through it. And I think there's an interesting story there about what it's like to be who I am and to see someone going through something that could be considered to be very alternative. And then what that means. Thank you, Gladys. So I don't know. I don't know how often you want me to stop for translation.
All right. 他说一下，对不起，我们两个太习惯那个中英转换了，所以他提醒我要翻译一下。我刚刚原本要问他说他第一次重深呼吸经验怎么样，然后可是呢，他刚刚提醒我一下，他应该从一个老公的角色，他见证我做重深呼吸的一个旁观者的角色。去体验，去解释、诠释重深呼吸。So what was your experience?
Seeing you go through it.
Seeing me go through it. 他当时看我 做这样的转换的时候，他当时是什么样的感受的？
对，我听不懂。Yeah. So definitely I knew as a husband, and in my personality, it's someone who's tries to be as perceptive as I can. So of course I know Anne, and I knew that there was some stuff from her past and some things that she was trying to work through, and that since we met, she'd been on this journey of trying to figure that out.
Yeah, since 2012.
Right. Yeah, there'd been some kind of key moments that triggered this journey. And so there's been different things that she's focused on, but then she really started getting into energy work, which led to breath work, which I think she first discovered in Singapore with Gladys.
Yes.
At doing the Botanic Gardens ones. And even back then she was like, oh my God, you got to try it. It's so intense. We vomited everywhere. It was amazing. And I just was like, okay, you're not selling it to me. But either way, so that was the beginning of the beginning of my resistance initially.
对，所以他其实第一次听我分享重生呼吸是有点反感的，因为呢，他觉得我已经就是开始走上这个自我发现之旅，我已经开始，比如说固定会冥想啊，固定跟 Gladys 做一些静心的活动啊。然后我第一次做完重深呼吸，跟他说：“哦，你一定要试看看，你要试试看，因为我旁边人吐的乱七八糟。”然后他觉得他完全不想去，因为就是吐的乱七八糟有什么好处？可是我当时没有进一步的在跟他I think I did tell you like how I feel after the first breath work, right?
The emotional stuff was very powerful. Yeah. But I still couldn't conceptualize.
对，他可能听归听，可是他不觉得，就是他没有办法就是把这个概念能够体现，能够把他觉得跟自己连结。简单的说这样，他觉得这只是一个故事，但这是别人的故事。对。
But just like most new things, we tend to focus on the superficial side of it. The where was it, what happened, it's hard to really, when it's something, and you'll hear more about it in a minute, but when it's something as deep and the experience is so unique as what you experience with proper breath work, there's no way she could have explained it to me anyway, and I could have understood it, especially from my perspective, coming in being kind of a pessimist or being a little bit more kind of fact-based person, so yeah.
所以其实他后来也觉得这个重生呼吸这件事情也非常难解释，尤其是他都是逻辑思考啊，都需要证据啊的人，就算我跟他讲了，他其实也很难能够真的完全消化，能够完全吸收。
So, Anne went on a number of rebirths, and eventually there was this retreat, a Bali retreat, which just sounded great anyway because I love going to Bali. But then I found out I wasn't invited. It was just for her.
后来我就跟他说：“哦，我要去参加这个重生呼吸营，在巴厘岛。”然后他一开始听得很高兴，可是后来发现呢，其实是我自己一个人要去。所以他就 feel
honey, there's a Bali retreat coming up. I'm like, that sounds fantastic. When are we going? We're not going together. Oh, okay.
Just me.
Yeah.
Me.
And since then, we've given each other some me time each year for each of us to go away, which is pretty cool. But so she came. So when she left, I had this vision in my mind, and I'll be really honest. I had this vision of, somebody who maybe hadn't found all the answers in their life yet, going off to this experience, finding these answers, and then coming back and being a different person. And maybe that meant, some of my own fears around like, would she still be my wife when she came back? Even at that level, just being really honest. And that was kind of scary. And while I was 100% supporting it, I couldn't help but feel those concerns and fears manifest after she came back.
所以他心里虽然替我高兴，可是他其实 Did you realize your own fear when you agreed to let me go?
Only once she came back.
OK， 其实那时候不知道，可是那时候我回来的时候，他才认可到，他觉得我要走的路已经越来越不一样了。然后他回来之后，我太太回来之后会完全变一个人，等等等等。可是他之前让我去的时候，他其实是完高兴兴的让我去，只是事后的时候，他才发现那个恐惧，其实在我去之前就已经有了。
So when Anne came, and during the experience, Anne was really connected to me. She was ringing me whenever she could because Gladys wouldn't let anyone use phones, I think. But she would
对，在
connect.
6天5夜的时候，手机都要关机，然后也不能上网，所以跟大家讲一下。
Yeah, and being disconnected from technology, I've learned being a tech buff is one of life's great pleasures, by the way. But anyway, I only learned that later. So Anne came back, and so during it, she was sharing how powerful it was and trying to articulate these kind of experiences she was having both with herself but also in the group. And I was like taking it all in. So I was very connected. And then she came back, but straight away, as soon as I picked her up at the airport, I could feel it was different. And her energy, that just, when you just see someone come in from work and if they've had a bad day just from looking in their eyes, it was like that, but just everything. Her whole vibration was different, completely different. And in fact, it was a positive thing, it was an amazing thing. But my fears, those fears that I mentioned earlier, through that lens, it was scary. I only later realized that I was a little bit kind of defensive or passive aggressive. I wasn't reacting super well to that initially, and I was really not happy with myself at that moment, acting like that, knowing that what I was doing, but still being uncomfortable anyway.
所以他那时候就是我从巴厘岛6天5夜回来之后呢，他就马上就感觉到我的身体的那个整个磁场啊，整个频率已经完全改变很多。其实是正面的改变，但是这个正面的改变反而让他觉得不安，就是有很多不安，然后甚至更多恐惧就浮上台面来了，然后就完全体现在就是刚刚我们提到了嘛，他觉得我老婆变了，然后我们生活又有什么样的改变等等，就是他会很害怕这些改变。Yeah, so in a way, you're kind of like scared of the changes. Like even though it was positive changes, but because it was a change that you were not familiar with, so that was the scary part.
Well, but it was also my own fears coming up, right? Like maybe all my life, or since I met you, I know how amazing you are, and maybe I feared losing you at some point anyway. And so this was just a moment when that came to the front, to the surface.
Yeah, 他可能就原本就有恐惧，他可能会失去我，因为我太好了，他可能才觉得配不上我，所以这个时候那个恐惧又浮到台面上来。
So, and for the record, I probably couldn't have had this type of clarity about these things had I not been on this rebirth retreat that I went on. But I'll come to that in a moment.
Yeah, I don't think we really had a talk. Like I feel like sometimes you were very happy about my change, but sometimes it was a bit intense as well. Yeah, 所以他说他其实这些觉知啊，就我们刚刚讨论到，他其实是自己去玩这个6天5夜的时候才体现到，就回想的时候才知道为什么自己的会有这样的行为，为什么会这样子对我说话，其实是正面的改变，为什么自己还会觉得恐惧等等。
Yeah, so so my personality, who I am, one of my strengths and also one of my weaknesses is that I am very try to be in tune with what I'm thinking and feeling. So I'm reflecting on that in my own time. So even though I'm not talking about it with Anne maybe all the time, I am talking about it to myself, which if you look at me by myself, I probably look crazy because I'm really talking out loud maybe. No, but I am having these conversations and trying to understand what's going on myself. So I do that a lot. So about a year passed and Anne was very keen on me going on rebirth retreats, and multiple trips to Singapore passed. And are you going to go? You're going to be there on Saturday? And other priorities were there. I wanted to go out and see my friends and have drinks, and I wanted to go out and have a beer with my friends. And so that was usually on a Friday night. So Saturday morning for rebirth was out of the question.
对，所以他每次去新加坡出差的时候，我就说你要不要去找 Gladys？ 你要不要去找 Gladys？ 这次可以吧？这次因为他这么一两个多月都会去，可是他每次都会回避，他每次说我要跟 David 咪咪喝酒啊，我要去跟Oliver 见面啊，或者是什么其他的安排啊等等，因为礼拜五晚上喝酒，所以礼拜六跟礼拜天就会没办法去早上去做那个重深呼吸。So finally, 终于有一天就是 like you made
finally I went to one. I resisted the urge to go out, and I went on this rebirth in Singapore, and it was so I went into the state. Gladys was leading us, and a couple of people I met during the session who would eventually be at the retreat that I went to. So I was in this breathing, and not straight away but fairly quickly I just had visions of Anne and Bastion. Bastion's our son. And just had these visions, but not just like, I picture like I'm on the plane and I'm thinking of my family. I mean, like I had a deep vision, but connected to that vision was a deep emotion of like love that you haven't felt before, and then followed by gratitude that I didn't know existed, so it was like really, really, like I had some tears coming down the side of my face and a big smile, and it was a really great experience.
Yeah， 我们现在讲一下，就是重生呼吸。我当时就是一直推荐 Ben 去做重生呼吸，然后终于他第一次去新加坡做重生呼吸的时候，他那时候就想到我跟我们家的孩子，然后他那时候就是打从心底的悠然的感激，然后这个感恩是真的是从心里出发的，所以他就那时候眼泪就停不下来。然后这个感动 ，like you haven't got into that heart space for a long time, right? You say you didn't recognize.
I didn't know that heart space. You don't know what you don't know. Yeah. I thought that I was full of love, and I really felt the love from others. But only at that moment did I realize there were other depths to
different
feeling
levels of love.
I just didn't know it existed. So I assumed that I was already there, right? And I'm generally a pretty happy-go-lucky person. Very fairly, pretty sunshine, positive type person, very affectionate, but just because now I know, just because I am that person doesn't mean I'm the be all and end all in love and affection. There's so many more layers to love, and so to feel that was very powerful. But that was just one part of the rebirth.
Yeah, 所以他其实平常是一个还蛮阳光的人，然后他也觉得他生命中不缺少爱啊，还有一个非常爱他的家人啊，然后跟同事也非常好啊，等等等等。可是直到他做重生呼吸的时候，他才理解到有一个更深、更神圣的爱是他从未体验过的。
Yeah. And so what's interesting about rebirth, like the breath work, is there's kind of different waves, I guess, different sensations. There's physical sensations, because what's happening scientifically is that oxygen is flooding your body, and it's having a similar effect to like psychedelic drugs in a sense. It's connecting you to your subconscious.
Yeah.
So it's very, very powerful, and so I really embraced that. I love that space, and so I was very happy to let it go. And so there was a few different things that occurred, but towards the end of it, when it was winding down, I got in a very visual space, and I was in this green, like imagine like a very small little a gully in a rainforest, covered all in green with a little stream flowing through it, and trees, and just green everywhere except for the river. And I didn't know why I was seeing it, but this is going to sound, especially to me and my background, the way I think it sounds a bit wild or a bit crazy. But then I just felt like I was just so thankful for the whole world and the whole universe at that moment. I realized that space was this space saying to me, everything is so beautiful and amazing. And I was just, I was shocked. I was literally kind of crying with how amazing that feeling of gratitude. I don't know what it was. It was just gratitude. It was just an overwhelming sense of just thankfulness. And it was extremely powerful. And Gladys, who is probably listening, can attest that even during the sharing, and I had to get out, I had to leave quickly to go and see my friends. And so as I'm leaving and trying to get a taxi, I'm still going, like crying, but happy and laughing. It was very, very odd sensation, but really powerful. And so that was like my first experience with it. It just unlocked some really a very beautiful experience.
所以他说他最后面第一次重生呼吸的最后，他就看到他一个非常茂密的丛林，然后有一个河流，然后那个河流那个场景让他感觉地球给他的爱吧。我觉得是 I think it's the love from Mother Earth or something like that. I don't know.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah, 感觉是地球妈妈给的，大地之母给的爱。然后那时候就是会 就情不自禁的一直泪流满面。对啊，张妈妈你好，我们现在在讲那个重深呼吸对我老公的那个的影响，还有我们两个之间的如何受惠。Okay, so this is what you experienced.
So that was my
time.
first
Yeah.
experience. That was my first experience with breath work. Very, very powerful. I didn't really come back to it again. And it did open the door, and Anne was like, you got to go on this Bali retreat. You got to go on this Bali retreat. But I'll be honest and say that there was still some conflict in me because, like I think a lot of people out there, and like myself included, the way that I was viewing it was similar to how I view religion, I guess, is that people grab onto it when they need healing, when they're lost or when they've had a terrible life, or it's, that was honestly my perception of it, is that, oh, this is for folks who need answers. And I felt like I had answers. Being a typical guy, I have a lot of answers, of course, not always right. But, so I that's how I viewed it. And so, but also I was talking to Anne about it, and her experience of it is her experience, right? It's her, her healing journey, and so that informed me that this is about healing, this is about that. And I felt like I am pretty happy. What if I don't need to be healed? What if I don't need to be changed? What if I'm good already, right? And having these types of conversations. And after, I'll talk about the Rebirth retreat, but after that retreat, the one in Bali that I went to by myself with, Gladys led it, and with other folks there, the one of the big takeaways that I had was that anybody, whether you've had a great life, whether you've had a mixed life, whether you've had a great life but recently a downturn, or even if nothing particularly interesting is going on for you, just reading a book one day, and there's that everyone benefits from connecting to themselves, no matter what, and everyone gets a different benefit. And there's more that I'll share after. Translate.
对，因为我觉得可能是我用我的有色眼光，然后去跟他宣导重深呼吸的事情。那因为我自己觉得是我在走我的一个自我疗愈之旅，那自我疗愈本身也是个标签，但是我觉得疗愈这个字就是在现在有点被滥用，然后很多都被觉得是真的是非常抑郁的人啊，需要走出低潮的人啊，就是找不出方向的人啊，他需要被疗愈，所以他对这个字有点排斥。然后他虽然第一次的重深呼吸经验非常的那个非常不一样，让他感受是前所未有的，可是他心里还是觉得他没有办法把自己跟疗愈的重深呼吸做连结。那这个是因为我的投射的关系，然后 but still after all you still went to the rebirth retreat.
Yeah, so I still went, and immediately I felt pretty comfortable because some of the people there that I met were really, really, really chilled people. I connected with some people there. There was one of Anne's friends there who had a very similar kind of mindset to me in terms of Visha.
Oh, Visha, yes, Visha.
Because she was very pragmatic about the world, and a little bit like sometimes a bit cynical, and I could connect to that.
Yeah.
But I had through several meditations and several realizations, I had 4 or 5 key realizations about myself. Mine wasn't about, at this point anyway, where I'm at, it's not about healing myself. I achieved great clarity about who I am, about what my purpose is, which is so important. I really want to go into the purpose bit. But also I got some answers from myself about helping me understand this whole thing.
What whole thing?
This whole, breath work and energy work and all of that. I realized that I don't have to be inside it or outside. Like everyone has their own belief systems. All I have to do is experience it and be true to my purpose. So, so I had the couple of these really powerful realizations, some of them that directly connected to a new level of calmness I have in the world. Yeah.
所以他重深呼吸。So the biggest takeaway for your retreat is clarity and calmness.
Well, that it's not always about healing. For me, it was about clarity. It was about really understanding intrinsically who I am, what my purpose is, what value I
所以
bring.
他得到最大的收获，就是其实是跟疗愈没有关系的，只是那时候我走上我的自我疗愈之旅，然后他可能被我影响。他得到最多的是他了解到自己是谁，他有这个清晰度，然后他知道他人生的目的是什么，所以他才理解到哦，原来重生呼吸不一定每个人都要被疗愈，他才找到他自己的力量，找到他自己的故事。
So yeah, I mean, I don't know how much detail. I probably shouldn't go into too much detail about like each of those realizations.
Maybe just the
with the afterwards kind of side.
No, just maybe share one experience, like whether water or whether the fire rebirth, or 因为我们在做6天5夜重生呼吸营会带出不同的一些元素，就是风水。我忘了哪几个 ，Gladys 再补充一下。
Earth, fire, water, air, space.
yeah， 中文就是英文就是这几个。
Yeah, not necessarily in that order.
Yeah, so
I think it was.
We'll do different elements about breathwork during the retreat. So I just want Ben to share like about maybe one element.
So I'm definitely a cold water person, and so there was like one where you're in a hot spring, floating with a snorkel for an hour, like breathing.
这个是带着那个潜水镜在温水呼吸的，这个是水的这个重生呼吸，但是他个人觉得最强而有力的是在那个溪水中做的重生呼吸。
So all of them were really great experiences, and sometimes it was just the meditations in between the breathwork parts that were really powerful. But
就算不是做重生呼吸，我们中间做的静心冥想，他也觉得非常收获非常多，就是很多的转念。
And the discussions and reflections afterwards.
对，然后后来事后跟群体的讨论啊，还有互相给予对方不同的意见啊。我觉得 ，I thought that was very very important to the group support。我觉得那个群体之间互相支持的那个力量也是非常不一样的。
Yeah. So each of my meditations, whether they were just like a standard kind of sitting there meditation, or if they were like a breathwork style meditation, I had a progressive journey. So I first, and this was Gladys's guidance, it was about purpose. So I kind of arrived at this purpose of being a source, right? And then from there, it was okay. Now, and
the
it
purpose
was
of being source.
The purpose. What's my purpose in life? It's to be my core purpose. Yes, I've got to do a lot of things in the world just to live and exist. But my core essence is to be a source of love.
所以他那时候在 Gladys 的引导之下，就是会先想说，你来到这一生的目的是什么？你有什么 mission 吗？你有什么
purpose？
目的？对，我讲了。
So and so then I just built on it. So it was like, what's my purpose? And then it was, what does that mean? And who am I with, in my family? And who am I in my life? And so I went through these different stages, and we got to this one that was a cold water. We did a hike up into a river that had just enough water to submerge, and it was really amazing. And I went straight in. I went straight into the water, like neck deep, and I was, doing the breathing, and I went into a really, really deep state, and I had these visions of like a heart here, but not like a cartoon heart,
a real
like a human heart with like veins and stuff.
Oh, right, okay.
Like, it wasn't gross. It was a beautiful thing. So it was this heart beating here. And then around it appeared this silhouette of a figure, like in purple for some reason. I don't know why, but and then I kind of reached out to it, and I didn't pull it towards me. We both moved towards each other and met in the middle, and I realized that it was me, and it represented, love. That was when I connected that I was the source, right? I'm a source of love. And I was thinking that one of the goals of that meditation was thinking about the things that you fear. So I was thinking about, the future and financial stability, and thinking about losing you and Bastion. And I was literally thinking about actually seeing, I know it sounds terrible, but I was trying to put myself in that place, like Bastion and Anne being killed in a car accident, like really putting myself into that feeling of fear and loss, or like stuff from my childhood, with friends or whatever, really playing those things out. And I just started laughing at them.
Why?
Well, just because I realized how ridiculous it was.
How? You were like,
Yeah,
it was illusions.
you can't worry about that stuff, and then I realized, as long as I am, the realization at that moment was, as long as I'm true, all the good things in my life that have happened, like when I first met Anne, it felt like everything, the stars just continuously aligned for us. Oh, Anne mentioned she wants to get out of China. That same day in a bus in Taiwan, I get a phone call from my boss saying, hey, why don't you move to Singapore? Or just everything is just aligned. And when things are not going so well, it's when I let my fears guide my behavior and my attitude.
Okay. That's a lot to translate. Hold on. Okay. 所以先讲，所以他第一次在那个他觉得最 powerful 就是受惠于最多的一个重生呼吸是在一个冷水的那个野溪当中，然后那时候他看到一个心脏，他在冥想的时候就看到一个心脏，那你们听着不要觉得太可怕。为什么边呼吸还边看到东西？就是用自己的灵视力去看，这个每个人都会，所以大家不要觉得怎么只有特别人会，连他都会，你们都会。然后他就看到一个活生生的心脏，就是有血管的，然后后来旁边还有一个紫色的晕血的，然后后来他觉得他跟那个心脏就越靠近越近，然后后来就终于重叠，就发现那个心脏是他自己，然后他才了解到生命最伟大的源头其实是爱，然后生命最伟大的源头其实爱这个观念让他突然就how do I say it? When you realize the source is love, how did you feel?
Well, it was connected to my fears. I looked at those fears and I laughed at them. I just thought how silly it was.
然后呢，他就回想到他以前的恐惧，比如说以前会恐惧失去我啊，以前会恐惧怎么赚的钱不够啊，以前会恐惧一些跟朋友的关系不好啊，或是或者是公司上的一些事情啊，他才了解到那个恐惧是幻象。只要你你只要贴近这个爱的源头，这些幻想都会自然而然的剥落。Wow, what a great sharing. Okay.
Yeah, and so so I was having this moment of just clarity that as long as I focus on this ability to be a source of love for others and for myself, that's what I can do. I can do it freely and willingly. It doesn't take energy for me to do that. That things are going to be okay, right? And that I don't have to worry about Anne working or not working, or me and my job or anything like that.
对，因为那时候我刚搬到雪梨，所以那时候其实我已经没搬到雪梨很久，但是那时候他会有一些财务的危机感，因为以前是2个人赚钱嘛，然后像一个人赚钱，就钱会变得很少，所以 like before he had certain fears about finance inflow，然后那时候他就突然理解到了，哇，就是只要做爱的事情。
Yeah. It was a recently developed fear. Because through all my life, I didn't really care so much about money. Money comes, money goes.
对，他以前其实完全不在乎钱的，是最近然后
And it was her fear. And then it switched and it became, because when Bastion was born, and I felt a greater sense of responsibility, I guess, to provide and to make sure that we had a future that was safe and stable and just concrete.
对，我以前是非常会担心钱的事情，因为我觉得我没有，就是会觉得没有安全感，然后我以前都觉得他乱花钱。可是后来呢，我做完重生呼吸，我就完全不在乎钱这件事情，然后他就觉得为什么我都不在乎钱，然后变成他非常在乎钱的事情，然后所以以前我们常用钱吵架。
She got rid of her fear of money and threw it onto me. So anyway, so I basically just had this realization. So first it was that I'm a source. Then I realized it was about love for me. That's my experience. And then in later meditation, I realized what I got to Gladys kept on saying to me, but love isn't an emotion. And I didn't know what that
Love
meant.
isn't
an emotion.
哦，他后来就是跟大家分享的时候 Gladys 就提醒他，爱不是一种情绪。
Fear is an emotion.
恐
Hate is an
惧，
emotion.
恐惧是一种情绪，憎恨是一种情绪，但爱不是一种情绪。
Yeah, but love is not exactly. Love is not an emotion. So, and I could try to think about that. Didn't quite get it. And then one day I was having one of the final meditations, the second last one of the whole retreat, and this, the answers kind of bubbled up in me, as I'm thinking about it and meditating, and I realized that love was really, these words started coming into my mind, and they were words like, dedication, commitment, wanting something to be better than you are, wanting something to be more successful than you are, caring about something more than you care about yourself, passion, like Donna said, being present, right? And I realized, so when I broke down love into these activities, these actions that really demonstrate love, I realized that I have a lot of, because I always said, and I'm sure people listening say this too, I want to find what I love. When am I going to find what I love? And they are seeking for this emotion that they imagine Steve Jobs had for Apple computers, or that graphic designer has, and there are people who have that.
Yeah, they look externally.
Right, because they don't get what love is. And then when I realized it was these things, and I thought, what do I love? And I thought about my work. There's some projects going on right now in my work that are super important to me, and I love them. I realized I love them because I care about their success and the people's in it more than I care about my own success. I completely freely give my time to it. I'm passionate about it. I'm committed to it. And so I love that. And so, and it's a very successful project. It's a game-changing project. And so when I'm a source of love for something, then things are successful. And then I realized the same thing about Anne. As long as I'm just focusing on those things and that I'm committed and that I love and I support, then things can't go wrong, because when there's fear, it's when there's arguments and when there's tension and when there's frustrations, and people don't progress. They get stuck in what happened before and just forget about what's happening now, and they get lost, right? And so with that realization, and plus one other realization about
好了，所以再补充一下，所以他了解到爱就是我们人的动力，人的源头，只要用这个爱去做任何事情，不可能不成功的，不可能不圆满的，是因为你心中有恐惧，然后造成隔阂，然后造成纷争，所以才有这些不圆满的事情。所以他觉得我只要保持维持在跟 how do I say align with love， 只要他 align with love， 然后一切都会很顺利的。他就突然有这个信心。
So it was really, really powerful, and that realization brought me a lot of clarity. Imagine all of a sudden your foundation just becomes set.
对。
What that can do for the building on top of it.
突然他就觉得说好像在造房子一样，就是地基已经打好了。以前会担心这个担心那个，后来发现爱就是所有事情的基础，所有事情成功的基础。
And then the last piece that I think had a big impact on me and on our relationship and on my life is also a realization that, everybody's on their own journey, right? And so one of the resistances I had was, when Anne would tell me about it, I'm like, well, that's your journey. What if my journey is different and my journey is perfectly fine? And we'd have these debates, and ultimately what I realized is that, and we have to be careful as we start to learn these things, that it's easy for us to become like disconnected from those who haven't learned it yet. We feel like, you guys haven't had that journey yet. And so it can be easy to be disconnected a little bit, but everyone's on their own journey. I came into it. I come from a childhood where I'd been to a lot of counseling after my parents' divorce. And I realized I'd done my crying and my anger and my shouting. And I was a very violent little kid after our parents divorced. And I got through that. I dealt with it at the time. And I'd also had a period of experimenting and going, out to nightclubs and having a lot of fun in a period. And there was a lot of inward visions and journeys during that period when I was in my early 20s. And, so I realized that I'd already been through some of the steps that maybe Anne was in the middle of going through while we were together. And that we're all on the same journey, but it doesn't mean we're at the same stage of that journey. And it doesn't matter if we're not at the same stage, as long as we can connect on it. So that helped me really, truly embrace. I try to always understand what Anne's doing and what she's reading about. And I do. And I try to do a bit of reading myself, mainly on the internet, but I don't have to understand it all the time. I have to just love her and know that, that she's helping people, and that's far more than enough than I really need to just be 100% there for us, so.
Yeah. That's a lot of information. I don't know how to translate.
对，
我只记得最后一句啊，最后一句的就是呢，他虽然都不了解，就是我在做什么，他可能不了解什么能量疗愈啊，不了解动物沟通啊，不了解我干嘛在通灵啊等等，可是他觉得只要以爱为出发点，然后呢就好了，他心里就有这个平安。Yeah.
That it's okay to be in a different.
哦，对，讲错了。然后呢，他觉得就是，Yeah, I remember， 不好意思哦，就是因为以前他都会觉得说，重生呼吸啊，这种灵性课程啊，都是需要被疗愈的人啊，然后他对疗愈这件事情就有点反感嘛，所以后来他就发现说，其实不是这样的，只是重生呼吸让他重新发现自己，你可以做你自己的定义。你不需要跟人家走一样的路程，最重要的是你找到你自己的路。你找到你自己的力量，这个才是最重要的。哦 ，Yeah， 我记得了。Okay，Yeah， right.
Yeah, so I came back, and so all these different realizations put me at peace, at a level of peace that I hadn't had before. Some of my friends that I've known over the years, one or two of them especially, have been on a similar journey, and I couldn't connect to it, just like I couldn't connect to Anne's. But I feel like I'm more able to understand their journeys now. A good friend of mine in Canada, for example, who I knew in China.
I think he's listening. Is it?
Oh, Aaron. Yes.
Aaron, yeah.
Yeah. So a few people, out there on a similar journey, but taking their own path to it,
yes.
and so anyway, I came back home. Oh, so I guess the last kind of piece of the puzzle for me was around work. Like, what does it mean to have your life's work? And the one thing I immediately felt as I had this sense of peace and calmness and clarity, that I realized straight away that it's work, right? I can't just go back and now all of a sudden I'm a new person. I kind of have this feeling like I'm a rubber band, and you can pull the rubber band, but eventually that rubber band's going to want to go back to its original position. So you have to, it's not like now I don't even have to think about it or try anymore. Just because now I understand and I appreciate things doesn't mean I still don't have sometimes things creep up in me about the future, or that those things still exist, but now I have the clarity and the purpose to deal with it differently. So there is work involved in your life to continue to grow and develop. That's the other last thing, is that's what people say, that's your work, or that's the life's work. I realize that's what it means. It's that to realize something is only 1% of the battle, then to live it,
absolutely,
to live it is the next part. And so,
对，所以他要讲了一个非常重要的重点，就是你就算有了这些体悟，你就算好像开窍了，你就算好像有了这个 inspiration， 但是其实还是有很多继续的工作。他说是工作来做，你还是要继续实践你的这些，你要是实践这些事情，不是说你一次开悟了，然后以后就不会有烦恼了。他还是很多，他就算当时做完重生呼吸是觉得非常的平静的啊，非常充满爱的啊，回到现实生活中还是有这些工作要做的。我觉得这跟我们做能量疗愈有点像，就是就算我帮你调到一个地步，就是你最后你还是要有意愿要做改变，你还是要改变你的思考，因为每个思考都是能量嘛。你如果还是我帮你调到一个脉轮平衡了，然后什么都好了，都清洁好了，你还是会回到以前的那些旧有的思念的话，就是很容易就很像那个橡皮胶一样，然后又回到原来的那个状态。Yeah.
So, to kind of wrap up on this point, like, so where am I now? I'm more at peace. We're more connected than we've ever been. We're just more chilled, more bloody relaxed, with each other, and able to deal with shit that happens more effectively and more pragmatically than where we were before, because everything's just out there now. There's none of these. What still happens, right? It's your fears still can be triggered and mine can be triggered, but we're able to now we're able to name it and shame it, kind of thing. Or you can see it. And first of all, you got to recognize something and have a name for it before you can do anything about it.
所以他说我们现在就是都体验过，然后他觉得我们还是会有时候会回到以前的恐惧啊，或现在再挖掘再更深的东西再浮上来，但是呢，现在至少我们可以跳出来，用第三者的角色去看，哦，你现在说这个话，表示你现在的状态并不是平衡的，所以我们其实会互相提醒 ，like we'll remind each other that you're not in a beautiful state. Quoted by Tony, if he says so. Yeah. 所以呢，所以我觉得最重要的是，你要可以有这个能力跳出来，去认出你的恐惧，去知道你现在的状态不是最圆满，不是最和谐的。
Yeah. So yeah, life has the baseline, the foundation of everything is much more stable, more relaxed internally around purpose, understanding. But there's still a lot of disruption around me that I still have to work through. Work, life, love, that all still exists. There's no magic pill, but I'm able to just see it better and work through it better. And I feel like that's probably the greatest gift. Pretty intense 6 days, right? To move through all that in that time frame. But in the end, I'm really happy. I'm still an atheist. I'm still, to be frank, I still have big issues with organized religion, and I'm still someone who's going to question things and seek facts, especially this day and age. It's even more important than ever. I think Donna will agree with me on that. She's in the base of operations of misinformation right now in terms of America. But so I'm still me, and I'm just a better, more clear version of myself.
Upgrade version. Yeah. 所以我们只要提醒说，就是我们还是会回到现实面，我们还是有工作要做，我们还是有很多事情，责任啊，我们还是有很多孩子要顾啊等等。但是像我们可以就是更心平气和的去面对这些改变。然后他还是同样人，他还是一个非常左脑思考，他还是会需要一定要有证据，然后他才相信的人，他还是不会，他也是一个无神论者。但是重生呼吸对他来说最大的改变是他有这个清晰度，他有可以掌舵，他知道怎么样自己去怎么讲啊，长这个舵了。Like you know how to encompass yourself, I want to say. Like you have your inner compass. 就是他有心中的这个compass.
Compass, I don't know.
忘了怎么讲，对啊。
My Chinese begins and ends with 我要一个啤酒，谢谢。I like Donna's comment here. She said, so to be is to grow with its ups and downs, but still be grounded in your new clarity. I think that's right. Like, you just become more of yourself rather than a different self. And when Anne came back from her retreat, she was more of her true self. And I realized later that what I had seen of Anne was Anne with walls.
Yeah. 以前的我就是完全不知道怎么表达自己啊。Like I don't really know how to express myself before. Like when we have fights, we would just like not talk for a few.
And I would just say,
weeks.
oh, that's just Anne.
Right.
In my mind, I'd be like, oh, that's her personality. But the reality is that's a limiting belief that I give to her and that she may have had for herself.
对，所以以前我不太知道我有这个习惯，我觉得这是很正常的心理反应，就是如果吵架就是不讲话几个礼拜，或者不真正沟通几个礼拜是很正常的。然后后来我觉得是重生呼吸让我就抽丝剥茧，比较找到真正的我，就找回真正的我。Like you will find me like a much better communicator.
Right. Yeah. So now, especially after your retreat, when before something would happen and I would have to claw through, try to get through what was going on and try to get her just to see that she was feeling this emotion. I'd like, what's wrong? I'm fine. Well, no, if you talk like that, you're not fine, right? She'd be like, what do you mean I'm fine? It's fine, And if there are a lot of, I don't want, anyway, so.
对，所以以前他就是我们两个闹不高兴的时候啊，我就是一来是真的不知道自己发生什么事情，然后二来呢，就是 就是会故意就说我没事，我没事，我什么都没事。但其实我知道我心里已经波涛汹涌，然后他每次都一直
Right.
一直来问我说到底怎么了，到底怎么了，到底怎么了，然后我才会愿意开始反思，然后看我到底怎么了。因为以前我到底怎么了，似乎不是很重要的事情，就是以前就是扫到地毯下啊，以前就是事情过了就算了啊，以前 I don't think it was that important to
Yeah, it
express。
doesn't matter. Forget about
Yeah，
it. It's not
没关
important.
系啊，过了就算了啊，
Yeah.
等等，对
And that
啊。
was part of, Anne's
That is
own
my part of
personal
my
story.
DNA，yeah， 那是
Well,
我自己的，我
it's
自己的。
part of the story that you've had to create to survive
Yeah， 然后以
through
前
your
他
life.
觉得 Anne 就是这样子啊，Anne 就是不会表达，然后但是这个也是一个限制自己的一个想法。对
So when
OK
she came back, she was able to like recognize things and call it out and say things. It was a big change. So anyway, if whether it's by yourself or reading a book or hooking up with all these lovely people in your community, from my perspective, coming in as really an outsider, and a bit of a cynic, it's had a big impact on me. So whether you're, like I was, like I felt like my life is great and I already know who I am, what's going on, and a lot of that was kind of true. I was still able to get so much more depth from myself and from my life from this type of experience. So I just really appreciate being pushed to kind of experience it and kind of regret the resistance, but a little bit, but that's it.
Yeah,
I needed to resist it to embrace it so much,
yeah,
perhaps.
yeah.
So yeah. So that's it. Good night. Sweet dreams.
Oh, Lock is here. Hi, Lock. 所以他就说，他其实之前他就觉得他生活很好啦，干嘛一定要去做这个重深呼吸？然后他也觉得说自己生活很圆满啦。可是做了这个之后呢，让他人生大反转，因为他让他至少扩展自己的人生，他知道人生有更多不同的面向。可以，以爱，刚刚 Gladys 说的很好，他说以爱什么，与爱融合嘛，对不对？然后就是这样。I think that's all we want to share today.
That's the longest 30 minutes.
Yeah, I thought we were going to control it in 30 minutes, but we actually have reached 1 hour. But thank you all for listening tonight. That's it.
Yeah, I hope
say good night.
Thanks, and I hope you guys appreciated that, and hopefully I can hear some of your stories when we get to meet up, especially Donna and Aaron and people who've popped on who I haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
OK， 所以最后呢，就你有什么要留言的话，当然我们很愿意跟你分享我们做重深呼吸的一些体验啊。但是最重要还是自己来参加，是因为我们讲再多都是听别人讲。最重要还是你自己来参加，所以我明天就要飞台湾了，我还没有打包行李，但是呢，我们接下来会有一连串的重深呼吸活动，麻烦你们可以上我的 Animal Bridge 动物沟通页面看一下。谢谢咪咪听了这么久，谢谢 Gladys，Thank you so much Donna for listening with us。
谢谢，
谢谢，
下次见。
晚安 ，Good night。
晚安。